Logan stood out probably from the time he was born, but even in kindergarten, he had the biggest heart. Like, he just absolutely loved everybody. Our little peacemaker, even from the time he was little. And where he got actually has two nicknames. One is Gentle Giant because he was 6'2", and wore a size 15 in his shoe. And so, and with that Gentle Giant came his gentleness with everybody. It didn't matter who he was around. To know Logan was to love him. People flocked to him just because of the way he was. He was funny, like naturally funny. He was just that person in the room that always had people laughing. And I would, even when he was little, I would, if we were all together in a group and I'd be like, "Where's Logan?" And turn around and look, and he's back holding the door open for somebody. That's just who he was, even up until the day he passed. Another thing about Logan is he would, and I'm not sure how he picked this up, maybe from us too, because that's how we were, but he would, if he saw somebody throw some trash down, he would just go pick it up. Or he would just, say something like, "Hey, you want to pick that up?" And that's why we, right now, when we have get-togethers in his memory, we will do biodegradable balloons and string, because we couldn't do it any other way. He would know. But Logan loved drums. He played drums in school, loved soccer. He was all about soccer. Logan moved with me. His father and I divorced when he was, I think, in the 7th grade. And it was a very, if you want to say, calm divorce. Like, we all got along even afterwards. So he wanted to move with me, which was only 30 minutes away from our hometown, because he didn't want his mama to be alone. And so he came with me. He did well, changing schools. I was kind of worried about that, but he did great. And he immediately made friends, because that's how he was. Everybody liked him. Logan's story is a little bit different from, I would say, a lot of people's, where Logan did not struggle with substance use disorder. He, 8 months prior to his passing, it's kind of hard. His best friend died by suicide. And I think that's where everything, went bad for him. He did not handle it well. Came to my husband and I just looking for help, because, I was being in the medical field. And we knew right away he was in trouble, because he stayed with us, and he just kept asking why, why, what else could I have done? And so we had to tell him, that's not how it works. And we knew that we needed to get him in to talk to somebody. And 3 days later is when we got the call. I was actually interviewing somebody to clean my house. Thank goodness she was there. And I got a call from his father, and just screaming and saying they found him, downstairs in his bedroom, and they didn't know if he was still alive, and they still had somewhat of a pulse. But so the EMS, when they got there, his dad did chest compressions on him until they got there. And the EMS came and got him and took him to the hospital, and that's where he passed. And my cleaning lady, which she's still with us, she took me to the hospital. The ride seemed to be forever. Yeah, it's probably a good thing she did, or I might have not made it myself. He had to accept something. It was Xanax. That's what was in his toxicology report, but we still don't know where he got it. And of course, we have a couple people working with us to try to figure it out, but right now we're still trying to get into his phone. And it was, like I said, 3 days later, and he was gone. And the only thing that was in his toxicology report was Xanax and fentanyl. And fentanyl was, I think, 7.4 milligrams, when 2 milligrams is enough to kill them. So that's what we're working on right now. I found out just by calling myself, they didn't call me, but that they closed the case. So I called them I called them back and like, wait, you're supposed to call me, and you are going to open that case back up. And so he said, well, okay, we'll open it back up. I didn't trust him because the way he, he's like, well, he accepted something, like it was his fault. And should he have accepted something? No. But he paid a high price for doing that. And that doesn't make it his fault, because there was something in, he had no clue what was in the pill that he took. They couldn't get his phone open. And so that's what we're actually still trying to do. There was a company out in California who did a soft breakthrough. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but didn't really find anything there. So now I want to go ahead with what they call a hard breakthrough. And if they don't find anything, they said, well, his pictures and everything will be lost, but right now we can't get into his phone anyway. I called CBI back and asked them to go ahead. Let's just go ahead and go with a hard breakthrough. And they don't do it, so they've referred me to someone else I guess now they have to have a court order. And so I'm not sure how that's going to work because he was 22. Being that he was never married, no children, so they have no one else to ask but, myself and his father. So I guess, that's our next step would be to take that and get a court order for that. I called probably a couple weeks ago to find out whether that case was still open or closed, and with no return call. I am now working with Kelly Dieter. She is a state representative for the state of Ohio, and she has helped me a lot. There is actually a law that states, it's SB 250, that if your child passed away from fentanyl being in anything that they took, on the death certificate, it has to say poisoning. So that is what we're working on now, is getting that changed. Well, they definitely need to talk to their children about the dangers of fentanyl, because right now, and not that we didn't, because we did, but it's just in everything. And the children out there, and people in general, not just children, need to know that nothing is safe. And the problem is the drug cartels are pressing this fentanyl into pills and making them look like safe pharmaceutical pills. Like, oh, this looks exactly like what they might have seen maybe in mom or dad's cabinet, or like it's safe, when in fact it's not. So I have joined Lost Voices of Fentanyl, and with April Babcock, we advocate for changes in the law. We have written so many times, politicians, government, senators, House representatives. You just gotta stay at it. I mean, we're not going to stop until something is done, and they can stop it. If they wanted to stop it right now, they could stop the flow of this fentanyl. And it just takes not giving up. I belong to, like I said, Lost Voices of Fentanyl, and I moderate for that group. And so I'm also going to be speaking at another event in Defiance, Ohio, teaching the difference between overdose and poisoning. And it's always something, whether it's speaking at events or, reaching out to write letters, and just can't give up. And we need everybody that we can get behind us. If this fentanyl has not touched your life or somebody you know yet, it's sad, but it probably will. We are losing upwards of 300 a day, every single day. And the statistics they're never up to date, so it's actually thought to be more than that. Losing a child is the worst pain imaginable. It does not equal to anything. And it affects more than just mom and dad. It affects the siblings, the extended family. Nothing is the same when we get together and have get-togethers, whether it be Thanksgiving or Christmases, or there's always that elephant in the room. That he's gone. I can't say you ever get used to it. I go to sleep thinking about my child. I wake up thinking about him. And we're going on for almost 4 years. It never gets easier. Just different.